Just a little bit to show this power supply. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's a 4-way board fed with that's a 60 amp actually, double poled breaker, standard breaker in a steel enclosure. Yeah, a 10 milli SWA cable, steel wire armoured with the armouring through the gland and bolted through the case, and an earth wire at the other side of that going into the earth terminal. That goes down and through the ground and up to the house, where it's fed by a 45 amp RCD breaker. So we're fully protected. So got a little short in here, it just trip automatically. Haven't had that problem at all. Heater suspended, that's a chocolate heater. It was 3-phase. I converted it back, you won't be able to see that, but each of those elements is 250 watt, a single phase. It was star connected, so I've just rewired all those back parallel each, and the 240 volt, and they're plugged in. Let's move this out of the way. So what we got here, this is my total mess that I regularly get told off about, plugging loads of extension leads and things in. So what we've got is a twin socket on a ring main, and just remembered, I've just seen my USBs. I've been plugging a USB charging in and I don't need to, do I? So this is a 32 amp ring main fed from the said disc board, and that left hand red plug is the 750 watt heater. The right plug, I've got one of those 4-way adapters plugged in, which I thought was a great little thing. That first plug there is to the inverter, which is fully earth, by the way, and onto the case. And the right hand one is a little 12 volt adapter that does the digital readout for the tacho. The cable there, we've got a clip on a strain gauge, if you like, just to take the strain off that piece of SY cable, which is fully screened and connected to earth at one end. Okay, terminals fully enclosed inside the enclosure case. No wire showing, no way of putting your finger in there. Another socket, it says UPS, uninterrupted, or what is it, UPS, some power supply in it, uninterrupted power supply. They're just some sockets I got from a job that we took out, but they're MK, good quality. So what we've got done here, we've got a 4-way adapter plugged in, and the left hand plug is my DAB radio. The right hand plug, which everybody says is totally illegal, is a little 2-pin that does that light. Total current draw on that lot will 750 watt there, so what we're looking at 3 amps. So 3 amps there. When the lade's running, possibly 4 amps on inverter, but most of the time it's not running. Apply diversity. The bottom one is just negligible, it doesn't take anything. So what is wrong with that? I was told how illegal all that was. It was apparently by a certain member of a certain forum was an explosion waiting to happen. Okay, so let's put our swath guard back, which is a scabby piece of hardboard, as already said by said member. It is, and it really does need a fresh one making, but it does its job. The motor is a totally enclosed motor, has got a fan on the back, but the motor is not a vented motor. It's got cooling fins on the outside. So I have had a lot of stick about this. You've got to have it in a steel enclosure. Well, okay, I've got my inverter here, that is in an enclosure, but it came like that, and it's great, and I think he's made a lovely job of it. and you do obviously on a milling machine get a lot more bits of metal flying about, so it probably is a good idea. I've had no metal been flying about on that. It's been, what, 2 years? It's been a good addition and I've not had any problem with it, but all I do is get people that niggle and say everything you've got totally illegal. Oh, and also you're supposed to have a filter. Well, when I used to fit these in industry, we used to put filters on them and a manual motor starter and a brake contactor on the supply side. You must never break the output. You should never put the output through a contactor from the inverter to the motor. You break it quick, you can get flashover. So I've got a DAB radio there, and I didn't put it there for demonstration purposes. It's always been there. Now they talk about interference, and all my neighbours running about in the gardens saying, oh, why aren't we teleworking radio, you know, everything's happening. That is the DAB radio, and if anybody's got a DAB radio they'll know how sensitive the damn things are. All I've got is an aerial wire that just bobs through the window there and dangles down outside, and it's great because I like my DAB radio and listen to my old 90s music and stuff. When I turn my inverter on and I run my inverter, I never get any issues with it. I dare turn it on for you. Well, I will, but I could get in a bother because you get copyright issues when radio's on. But let's fire inverter up. So that's running. I'll do this very briefly. Okay, not a problem. Sorry, I can't leave it running because YouTube will knock it off. The only thing that does occasionally make that radio go funny is this LED light. Oh, the other thing I was told was that I've mounted this inverter in such a place that I'm likely to do myself some bodily damage by operating my lathe, because I haven't got controls at the front here or the e-stop. So let's have a look. Right, so just added this other clip on. So there was a mention of the danger of having the inverter controls at the back of the lathe. I put them there because I thought that's where they were suitable. I could have put them at the front. I'd have probably always been knocking myself on them, or I could have just put maybe a start and a stop, or just an e-stop there. There, not a lot of difference. So if my lathe's running and I want to stop it, press stop. See if we've got a tape measure. There we go. So I'd go like that. So I'm working here and I go like that. So how far am I away? I'm right-handed, always have been, so just that, push it out of the way. So 17, nearly 18 inches my arm is away from that chuck. Even if I had a piece of work stuck in here and I was machining back here somewhere, I can't see how on earth that is dangerous. But there's a certain person that keeps digging at me, saying that everything I've got is dangerous, just about. But then some people like to moan for whatever reason. I don't know, and it's beyond me, because if I see anything that somebody's done, I usually at least give them a thumbs up and say, great work lad, you know. If I think it's done something really disgustingly wrong, I'd probably say. But I just don't see what's disgustingly wrong with having two extension leads plugged in to a 32 amp ring main that's taking no more than about 8 amps in total when everything's on full bar, and then covered up with a swath board, which has always been there. As I say, yes, he mentioned it's an old shelf, an old piece of hardboard out of a drawer, and it is. It really could do it. I'll show you what I have got and what I'm going to do for it. And I got this some time ago. got two pieces of this stuff. Do we call it Foamex? I think we call it. And that stuff's good stuff. I used to use it a lot when I had my company. And I was going to make a new one for there out of this stuff, a fresh one. I'm not going to cover my inverter up, I don't need to. I am baffled as to why somebody would call this installation bad. And it's a bad example to me, especially the fact that I was an electrician. Let's show you some other bits and bats. So let's zoom back out. I'm trying not to be as juddery as I can. So up there is the disc board, and this is all done in plastic PVC trunking. Oh look, we've got a fire extinguisher. Have you? There we go. That's my light switch. That's two-wayed with the other end of the garage, where there's a two-gang switch which has some, I think it's for my outside light, floodlight, which is left on all the time. Then up there again, we've got trunking, runs across. The piece runs down behind those shelves and feeds those sockets, no cabling shown. And then we carry on, and we've got that trunking runs right through the garage. And again, whenever I want to drop down to a socket, which is there, is done in trunking. And we've got a dedicated socket for our TIG welder. And another twin socket there. With all sorts of stuff plugged in. It's going to set on fire. Oh no, it ain't, because one's a battery charger, takes about 3 watts. That's my door chime for my house. And that's the little LED outside lights, 6 volt I think they are. We've got water and air. And then again, the trunking runs right through the garage and disappears with the water and air and disappears through the wall. The main 32 amp ring main is not including this, which is my overdoor heater. That's 2 kilowatt Dimplex door curtain, and that's on a 20 amp breaker in the disc board on its own, separate cable, down to a 13 amp spur. I can't remember, I think it's a 10 amp fuse I've put in there. Okay, so my dodgy electrical wiring, just to show people, as an add-on to the last video I did, if you've seen it, it was basically, I think, showing lathe tools and things, or was it one shows you lathe? It might have been shows you lathe and with the Myford running and how the inverter worked and everything. And there's been an awful lot of contention on a certain site forum, but so far everyone on YouTube has given me thumbs ups and liked and commented and everything, and I hope they will continue to do so, because there's nothing wrong. Oh my, no, okay, look, there's a heater here and then there's a cable clipped over and it's coiled up there. Well, you shouldn't coil cables up when you've got a load on it, but the load is 750 watts on a 1.5 cable. There's going to be no heating issues on that, no inductive loads. Okay, I'll knock off because I'll just go on and on and on because I'll prattle too much. Oh no, I'll show you this. I couldn't find this. John from John's Workshop had said, oh, get one of these parting off tools. Well, I'd already bought it to make the rare tool parting off holder for the Myford. And I probably, much as what he's done, is I bought that and a packet of 10 of the blades for it. I don't know who it's come from. Them, whoever they are. I think I just got it off eBay. It wasn't expensive. And that's what I'm going to make the blade holder out of, and that's all that I've got of the original rare tool post holder, which I don't think is going to be much good, because you've got to mount this upside down. I need to make some sort of a block with a slight adjustment on it, because once it's set, if it's got, mind you, if it said that, if I get it just right for the tip of the tooth of the insert, bang on the 3.5 inch, I think it is, to the centre of the chuck, I'd never need to adjust it, would I? That'd be fixed and it'd always be like that. So it might be okay. Okay, thanks for watching.